All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to say all praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Hadach, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to all you brothers teaching the truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. All right, this is Gms Boston coming in once again. All right, with a quick impromptu, and this is our weekly sit down, and we're gonna, just chip away at this foundation that the queendom has perpetuated throughout the four corners of the globe. All right. We're bringing down this place by the word of the Heavenly Father, not by violence or by terroristic means. Okay. We're using the scriptures, and that's the way that the Lord planned it to be. Okay. And then in these times that's approaching or we're in, I would say that because the prophecies are speaking, okay, and these nations are gearing up, man. They're gearing up to go to war with Babylon the Great. In so many words, and if you can't see it, then you have the watchmen on the towers of the nation of Israel, spewing it forth, spewing, the shame on this nation's glory, which is a fake nation at its best. Okay, and we're here, the men of the Lord are here to bring out the truth of the Holy Scriptures. Okay, and with that being said, we're going to get started.
Right. I'll start with the first precept.
Done.
All right, this is Proverbs 29 and verse 2. And it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So when you look at what's going on around the world, this place is in dire need of righteous rulership. Okay. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. There's too many things going awry in the world, and it needs to be put back on track. And the only people that can do that is a nation that's underneath the rule of Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai, man. Okay. And when the King of all kings get here, this will be a righteous planet. Okay. But for now, we have to endure and just run the race, man. And way of running the race is bringing out these scriptures and bringing down this kingdom with the word of the Heavenly Father through the scriptures.
That's right. I got one more too, if you don't mind. Since you had mentioned that, I'm gonna jump to the book of Ecclesiasticus, and I'm gonna read chapter 10 and verse. I'll start at verse 1. All right, and it says, "A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man, the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyed his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable."
Yeah, so we're those profitable people. Okay, the nation of Israel. Okay, the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. Okay, because we got Israelites that's still going off and still acting willy-nilly in this wild kingdom. Okay. But the men of the Lord are the ones that's setting themselves aright to be underneath subjection, okay, in order to rule one with Yahweh Shai, man. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's important. You have to be under orders, okay, in subjection to rule one with Yahweh Shai.
Just to back you up real quick. Romans 8 in verse 16 says, "The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High, and if children, then heirs, heirs of the Most High Yahweh, and joint heirs with Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together." And
Con.
if I may speak on that too, that's talking about the kingdom to come. All right, that's why it says being joint heirs. Why? Because Yahweh Shah which is the King of Kings. All right, he's gonna administer and put men in that order, so that you delegate the laws, you delegate the purpose and the job that needs to be done to make sure the earth is back running how it's supposed to be. All
Yeah.
right. So now what we're learning is discipline. What we're learning is structure. What we're learning is how to judge righteously. So when
Con.
that time comes, it's gonna flow like what is it? A second. It's gonna become second nature. All right. We're not gonna have to think hard and try to figure out what's going on. Why? Because we have the law, statutes, commandments to direct our steps.
That's
All right.
right.
I got something real quick just to back you up. Judges 5:11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord, even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his village in Israel. Then shall the people of the Lord go down to the gates. And like the brother was saying, here in this our captivity, we are learning the way of righteousness, so we could be rulers. That we be found fit to rule this next kingdom. Through Yahweh Bashem Yahushua in the scriptures. Because right now it's prophecies are coming to pass, and they're coming. We're in a transition of power, man. As the scripture says, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Con.
So there is a balance. The falling of Esau's kingdom, as we could see, and these other nations are also going to be joint hand on bringing down Esau's kingdom through the spirit power Yahweh Shem Shai. But ultimately, it's going to be the righteous rulers that rehearse the righteous acts of Israel. The children of Israel is going to be ruling next.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And right now, we have the faces of men in power. The scripture says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So what you expect, being under the rule of the wicked, is that the world is going to be in full chaos. There's going to be a lot of what the scripture say, John 10:10, the thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and destroy. And that's what we've been witnessing, and that is attached to Babylon the Great. Why? Because of that power, because of the hegemony, right? And we're gonna go into an article, all right, and it's gonna expose all of that, right? And it's basically just gonna lay down Habakkuk the second chapter in its fullness, all right. So, you brothers want to say anything?
You want to read that in Proverbs?
Proverbs was it 22?
What, 29 and 2 again?
Which one? The one that says Salakia, bear with me. Oh, by usury?
No, not that. Yeah, we read that already, right?
Come.
Okay.
You can bring it back out.
Bring it out again. Just to remind them.
Okay.
This is what's going on. Not this one, but the one with
Proverbs 29 and 2.
Yeah, I got it right here. Proverbs 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Mm-hmm. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
Yeah. So this is what this whole article is about to go into, because you got to understand these heathen nations, they're suffering underneath who? The one that the earth was given into the hand of, which is Esau Edom, which is the so-called white man. Okay. And his hegemony is a threat to all nations on this planet, because if you're going to be underneath his thumb or his rule, you have to do wicked deeds, or you have to do the bidding of this wicked man. Okay,
that's right. So yeah, this is from going into the article. All right, this is from fmprc.gov.cn. It's the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the People's Republic of China, right? And the title reads, it says, U.S.
Can I say this too?
Come on.
Because it's the People Republic of China. You know what the West has did to people is they have brainwashed them. These rulers that's over these westernized countries, not westernized, but easternized countries, right? You have to put in a mind state that they are kings. And there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. All right. People have been labeled dictatorship, but what is a dictator? A dictator is a king. He's making sure that all of his people are set aright, just like the brother read. Okay.
Mhm.
So you have to put that inside your mind state. Here in Babylon the Great, they're the only nation that don't want a dictatorship. Everything's democracy, which we know that democracy is poison. Okay. It's too many lines going. These are one line and then two lines, which is the Republic Democrat, and it leads to nowhere. Okay.
Mhm.
You got people arguing all day in the Senate House talking about what they're going to do and what they're not going to do, but it's no type of solution or resolution to it. So you have to put that in your mind too. When you read these articles, these people are not bad people because they're getting their nations in accordance to what they're supposed to be doing underneath one what? One rule of thumb. That's it.
That's right. It says U.S. hegemony and its perils. This was posted February 20th, 2023, and it says the contents. Right. It says the introduction. It says section 1. It says political hegemony throwing its weight around. Section 2, it says military hegemony, wanton use of force. It says section 3, economic hegemony, looting and exploitation. Section 4 is technological hegemony, a monopoly and suppression. Section 5, cultural hegemony, spreading false narrative, and then you have the conclusion at the end. So what we
If I
will
can
do,
add too, hey brother, if I can add, those are all points of power for
Con,
anybody that comes into any position of power, whether it's Persians, the Babylonians, the Medes, the Egyptians. Once you obtain power, you keep power by maintaining, this same structure. So scripture talk about the three frogs: the military might, the financial might, and the spiritual might. And then in between those is where you get your cultural and your bully. Each kingdom that was in power, they ultimately was a bully. But China going into this and bringing out this information only spells the doom for America because they understand what America is doing. They understand what they're trying to do, and it's only a matter of time before not just China and America, but these great nations, as the scriptures depict, or on a collision course, for a great crash. And this is what we're telling you, and this again is perfectly, it lines up with the scriptures because the scriptures already foretold of this story. This story is just being played out. We know about it. We're prophesying to the ones that would listen.
that's right.
I
did
got a
we
quick.
already did we bring out Jeremiah 51:7?
That's the spirit. I got it right here.
Con.
Um, Jeremiah 51. I'll start at verse 6 and read down to verse 9. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Hey, now when you go back to China, you could literally go back to 50 years ago, in the 1960s, or probably a little bit more than that. The main way of transportation was a bicycle. But just like you see cars in the West traveling back and forth, you see, the Chinese with bicycles. But it goes to show you that America had been a golden cup in the world's hand. They've been uplifted for so far, while other nations have been brought down so low. America being a first world country because it uses these methods of bullying, oppression, um, economics, some of the bulletin points that they use to make other nations third world countries, stealing
Con.
resources like they put out there, to make other nations second world countries, right? So now China has coming up, risen up in the world, and that's another superpower for them to tin with. And Esau is hell bent on obtaining and keeping his hegemony, in so much that he's signing all kind of bills, putting all kind of weapons in Taiwan, threatening the Chinese, saying, look, if you guys help Russia and give them weapons, there are going to be certain consequences, all while giving the Ukraine weapons and information and helping them out. So the world sees this hypocrisy, that America is on. They see the news, the fake news as laid out in this bulletin. And Lord will, we're going to get through these, and it's going to be edifying and link them up with the scriptures because, hey, these things are happening. Just like in Habakkuk, it said at the end, it shall speak and not lie. But America America has
That's
had
right.
her
That's
time,
right.
and her time is coming to an end. And this
Yeah.
this right here. This lesson is just indicative. This it's just proof. This letter to China is just proof of what we're saying. The Lord is going to be correct. Go ahead, brother.
Con.
You got
Yeah,
it, brother.
but Con, I'll read verse 7 again. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Babylon is
Yeah. So
suddenly fallen.
it's like here, brother. The nations played that game. They played the game because they said, hey, even Americans have played the game, or people have been fooled. Look, do this or do that, and you can live the American dream. You know what I'm saying? Have democracy, have women's liberation, or let us build in your land, or let us establish a foothold. We'll build your infrastructure going into the confessions of an economic hitman. You know,
That's
look,
right.
we'll
That's
build your
right.
infrastructure, we'll build roads, we'll build trains, we'll give you a system if you and we'll let you borrow some money. But if you can't, pay this money back, we're gonna take what's yours. So these nations have played the game and now they're mad. And even the nations that have got in bed with America, they've gone crazy because they flipped their society upside down. And this is what the scripture is laying out here. Go ahead, Tazawul.
That's right.
Con.
That's right.
The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are
Yep.
mad.
Right.
Babylon.
Now the wine is the philosophy, the way of thinking. The problem with America is the philosophy, it's the way of thinking. It's the Western society or Western values. It's their culture. You know what
Way
I'm
of
saying?
life.
It's what they press. It's their way of life. That's the problem. When the scriptures talk about in Revelations the 18th chapter, Babylon will be destroyed. You know, Babylon being a geographical location, who gives a fuck? The main issue that the main issue is the philosophy and the way of thinking. It's the sin. It's that apple. That, or I'll say that forbidden fruit that the Heavenly Father said, look, don't partake of this. But America is that serpent constantly feeding you that fruit, constantly putting it out there on billboards, on radio waves, on
Yeah.
TV. No matter where you go, you can't escape this goddamn this devil, the matrix system that he set up, man. And
That
this is what
influence.
needs to be destroyed. We're destroying the mind frames of the philosophies of these people. Go ahead, brother.
Con. Verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed.
Yep.
Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth into heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies.
So there's no healing remedy for this place. The
That's right.
judgment is already set. That the wickedness is already spread forth. She's already in too deep. She's committed to helping the Ukraine. She's committed to making ensuring that the Chinese don't overtake Taiwan because it's a lot. It's big chips. Literally, they no pun intended, but it's big chips in Taiwan. It's really the future of the world, if you will.
That's right.
When you go into uh, uh, um, precision guided missiles, when you go into technology, 3G, Silicon Valley
Systems.
can't
There's systems
systems.
overwide.
The MOTB,
Yeah.
Silicon Valley has nothing on Taiwan. They're struggling to keep pace with the chips that those people can make. If China gets a hold of that, it's a wrap for America, and they know that. They understand that. So it's a lot in play. It's not just a little island. It's way more bigger than that. But they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you. So it's them. Esau being Esau, making sure he can maintain his hegemony. And hey, if
That's
you can
right.
look up that word hegemony too, you could keep reading Tazawul, but if you look up
Yeah.
that word hegemony,
Con. Verse 10. The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord, our power.
yeah, hey, and ain't that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Right? This is a powerful work that we're doing. This is
Yeah.
a powerful thing. This is what Esau don't want to get out. He'll go to hella high water to hide this information because this is powerful information that we push forth throughout this, of course, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Because without them, what will we be? And this is all we're saying. This is the end. How it's going to end. Who are the players in the game? That word hegemony, you got that, brother?
Yeah, Khan. This is the definition for hegemony. It says leadership or dominance, especially by one country or social group over others.
Well, Job 9:24.
Yep.
And when you go into the New World Order, it's gotten bigger than America. So this leadership and this dominance, It's bigger than America. So it goes to Europe, right? They already sold up Africa, right? They did that in the 50s. They did that in the 60s. They had Africa tied up. They had meetings on how they was going to delegate Africa, right? Certain parts of Asia, South America carved up. It's already belongs to the elites, right? But there's certain countries that don't. They don't have that central banking system there. You know, what did that devil say? I don't care who makes the laws. Give me the control of the money. They want control of the money, right? So there's certain countries that's not gonna play the game, but guess what? These countries is named in the scriptures. The players are in the scriptures.
Yep.
Persia is Iran. Iran is Persia.
Iran.
It means the same thing. They're in the scriptures. Ethiopia, right? Russia. Those guys are in the scripture. We know the end game, right? So these people that have this hegemony, world dominance is their thing. This thing has been set up since decades ago, centuries ago, the so-called New World Order and what they're trying to get into intuition. But the scriptures say just when they're going to go fill their belly, the Heavenly Father was going to hit them with a surprise. And we just happen to be living in that time, man.
I got
any more synonyms on that?
Yeah, I got you real quick.
Yeah, real quick, bro, if y'all don't mind. Salakia, brother, because brother quoted it. I got it up on Nate. I believe it was Nathan Rothschild. He said, "Give me control of the nation's money, and I care not who makes its laws." So just back you up.
What are these nations doing, bro? They're trying to get away from the dollar because the dollar is what's been crippling these nations, right?
Yeah.
You don't play by their rules. Even if you play by their rules, they still hit you with sanctions.
Yeah.
They still hit you with sanctions, right? Freeze your money. You're talking about billions on trillions of dollars of Russian assets that's been freezed by these devils. Iranian assets, Venezuelan assets. What are you forcing these nations to do? You're forcing them to collaborate together, as spoken about in the book of Habakkuk. So now all these take up a parable against thee. Wouldn't that make sense? You messing with me, right? You messing with him, man. Let's jump his ass, man. We gotta stick together.
It's going along the lines of it's more or less not the economic part, but it's to do the will of Satan part. Okay. The economic part is a bonus to it, but to do the will of Satan is what they puppeteer that dollar around for. When they say we want gays to marry other gays, you got to do that. Okay, it's to get along. All right, these are things that they want you to do. They want you to bring Satanism into your country. Okay, more or less, they want you to rule over the people like Satan would rule over people. You get what I'm saying? So that's the main, probably because it's a spiritual war going on. Okay, we know what real money is. It's gold, it's land, it's cattle. You know, and you can have that. Okay, no man can stop you from having that unless, you know what I'm saying, they want you to do something other than that. And like I said, it's more along the spiritual line as well too. Economics is with it, but the spiritual line goes along with it too. Let me read this in Psalms 58 real quick. It says, "Yea, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth." Right? And that's what Esau does. He does shit. Okay, and then he's the perpetuator of it. You know what I'm saying? He wants that to be done. It says the wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, and that's one of the talking points on the article. All right, they're poisonous like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder; they stop at her ear. Okay, so once they bite you, they want you to stop listening to your own thoughts, but they want you to come into what they're saying to do. Can you get that in the NLT? The 3. Just go to tools.
Yep, I got it right here.
Yeah.
It says Psalms 58:4 says they spit venom like deadly snakes. They're like cobras that refuse to listen.
Yeah, see? Go ahead.
It says ignoring the tunes of the snake charmers, no matter how skillfully they play.
Yeah. So they want you to do as they say to do, not what the righteous say to do. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bottom line. That's why they use that currency. All right. you're gonna do what we say to do. If you don't do, then we're gonna have to put sanctions on you. Okay, that's what they've been doing.
That's right. Hey, if I may mention, this is why these other nations are mad, realizing that they've trusted into Satan or into the devil, man. And if you don't get down or lay down with their policies, they're really going to show their horns. And it's
That's
spiritually,
right.
it's going to happen even more, even here in Babylon, man. And this is why the Lord has set up forth his apostles and the brothers and the Akim and the prophets to give warning to the nation of Israel that you have an enemy. And the devil is the Edomites, man. You can't trust him because he's not here to benefit you. He's here to rule and spread forth wickedness, man. And if you join hand and trust in his policies, or you join hand with him, you are going to be bitten by that snake, that serpent, man.
And it ain't just about just getting on a so-called white man too. It's something that's called geopolitics, and there's a lot that goes on around the world. There's a lot of nations. There's 12 prince of Saudi Arabia. There's a lot of nations that the Heavenly Father have implemented and put it on this planet, and they play a role in this thing called life, in this earth, in this role. So we're gonna call out the characters. We're gonna call out things as how they are. So we could read these bulletins and read some of these bulletins, Karab. These Moabites made beautiful points. You know what I'm saying, and then hit them up, line them up with the scripture.
That's right. So I'm gonna go into the introduction. As well, I'm gonna be posting this in the description box just for those that want to, read it for themselves. This is an introduction. It says, since becoming the world's most powerful country after the two world wars, and the Cold War, the United States has acted more boldly to interfere in the internal affairs of other countries, pursue, maintain, and abuse hegemony, advance subversion and infiltration, and willfully wage wars, bringing harms to the international community. The United States has developed a hegemonic playbook to stage color revolutions, instigate regional disputes, and even directly launch wars under the guise of promoting democracy, freedom, and human rights. Clinging to the Cold War mentality, the United States has ramped up bloc policies and stoked conflicts and confrontation. It has overstretched the concept of national security, abused export controls, and forced unilateral sanctions upon others. It has taken a selective approach to international law and rules, utilizing or discarding them as it sees fit, and has sought to impose rules that serve its own interests in the name of upholding a rule-based international order. This report, by presenting the relevant facts, seeks to expose the U.S. abuse of hegemony in its political, military, economic, financial, and technological and cultural field, and to draw greater international attention to the perils of the United States practices to the world peace and stability and the well-being of all people. This is the first section. It says political hegemony throwing its weight around. It says the United States has long been attempting to mold other countries and the world order with its own value and political system in the name of promoting democracy and human rights. It says instances of U.S. interference in other countries' internal affairs abound in the name of promoting democracy. The United States practices a neo-Monroe doctrine in Latin America, instigated color revolutions in Eurasia, and orchestrated the Arab Springs in West Asia and North Africa, bringing chaos and disaster to many countries.
Toppling governments, man, causing chaos, coups, uprisings, paying people off to sell their people out. That's what they do, and that's attributes of a serpent, man. But go ahead, brother.
We're gonna jump straight to the second one. The second section is military hegemony, wanton use of force. The history of the United States is characterized by violence and expansion. Since it gained independence in 1776, the United States has constantly sought expansion by force. It slaughtered Indians, invaded Canada, waged a war against Mexico, instigated the American-Spanish War, and annexed Hawaii. After World War II, the wars either provoked or launched by the United States, including the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, the Kosovo War, the war in Afghanistan, the Iraq War, the Libyan War, and the Syrian War, abusing its military hegemony to pave the way for expansionist objectives. It says in recent years, the U.S. average annual military budget has exceeded 700 billion U.S. dollars, accounting for 40% of the world's total.
Well, that's because they got a monopoly over the money, right? And what Russia through Putin and China and Ping and there's a guy over there in Iran. What they've come to understand is the way to take power from them is the way they have their power is through the dollar. And guess what? Even European nations are starting to realize that what they've done with the dollar is out of pocket, because Saddam Hussein wanted to take he wanted to get rid of the dollar and use the euro, all right, as what you call the petrodollar, and you
That's right.
see what happened to him. So these are people that are in your own league, ally, NATO, European Union, if you will, your own people, that you're cutthroating now. So now it becomes a problem. But that dollar is how they do it. If they have the ability to make the printing press to print out the dollars, of course they're gonna spend majority of their money or outspend everybody else on military spending, because they're in control. They have the power to do so, right? Go ahead, bro.
It says
Hey,
more.
it's like it real quick, bro. What source is this?
This is
I know we said it, but
it's the fmprc.gov.cn.
so this is straight from the CCP.
Yeah.
All right, so this is oh man, this is beautiful. This is straight from the horse's mouth. This isn't a blogger, this ain't fake news, this is coming from the Chinese government in itself, man.
Mm-hmm. It says account for 40% of the world's total, more than the 15 countries behind it combined. The United States has about 800 overseas military bases with 173,000 troops deployed in 159 countries.
Hey, the book of Habakkuk should be running all through your mind, man.
Yes, I have it.
All the book of Habakkuk on point, solid as concerning Esau. The book of Obadiah should be coming to your mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Go ahead, brother.
Section 3, it says economic hegemony, looting, and exploitation. After World War II, the United States led efforts to set up the Bretton Woods system, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank, which together with the Marshall Plan formed the international monetary system centered around the U.S. dollar. In addition, you want to speak on it, or just keep
running? I'm Revelation the 17th chapter. Right?
Yep.
They agreed to give their power unto this whore, to the beast, which was America, which was that whore.
You want to read it real quick?
Well, yeah, if you guys want to get it, let's get it.
Yeah.
Right? Because that mystery Babylon is no longer a mystery. People read the book of Revelation, and a lot of these Christians say they can't understand it, but through the Spirit, we're breaking it down. We're letting you know who the whore is. The whore is America. Who that mystery Babylon? It's America. She's the only one that has the ability to play these roles. She's the only one that can fill these shoes. Yeah. She's the only one with the power to be able to maneuver like this. This is a huge entity, all right, that the scripture is talking about, that yields a lot of power, a lot of strength, and that's America. No other nation on the planet has been set up like America ever. This is the biggest colossal kingdom, and it's gonna fall the hardest. It's the last kingdom that the Heavenly Father set up to rule the earth like this.
That's right. You want me to start from the top?
Yeah.
You can.
All right, Revelation 17:1, it says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
Now that whore is America, right? Go ahead.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
Yeah, so if you get down, you could be down. You could find your niche under so-called white supremacy, and this is what some nations have done. South Korea has come to mind, but you have other nations that have chosen the other side, which was how you get North Korea. So you got nations like Japan. They once fought against the beast, right? Fought against the whore, right? But they got conquered by the whore, and now they riding with the whore. So they're committing fornication with the whore. Who else fulfills this prophecy? South and West Sudan, Vietnam, all these places were divided and separated. Go ahead, bro.
It says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Yeah.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Yeah, all the abominations. Go ahead, Tazzy.
I got something to chime in when you go back up to 4.
Yep, Khan. Says the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having the golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication.
So when you read Revelations 18:3, it says, for all the nations have drunken of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay, so that's what, like, the brother was going into. That's what they
Well,
have.
when you read,
say that.
when you read Revelation, go to 17, and was it 17 at the last chapter of that verse, right?
Last verse.
Yeah.
Last 16.
16.
Go up,
Sorry, 16. Revelation 17 and verse 16. It says, "And the 10 horn which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Mm-hmm.
For the Most High had put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou
Now, when you go
sawest,"
into the Brentwood plan, right?
Yeah.
After the Second World War, these nations was left in debt, and it was left a sole ruler, all right, in which the West could depend on, which was America. So they said, all right, we'll scrap our dollar, right, and we'll give our power, our dollars, our European dollars, and we'll give that power to the American dollar, just
That's
so
right.
as long as that American dollar is backed by gold, all right. And then you had the backstabbing of the American dollar being taken off the gold standard, right? Which in which it was backed by the petrodollar. So they said, okay, it's not backed by gold, but as long as it's backed by the petrol, oil runs the world, right? And that was cool until the Saudi Arabians started to say, like, look, they start to rise up. Now it's causing a rift in the system. And when you go back to the First and the Second World War, that's what these world wars are all about. It was about another nation trying to come up in the game and establish power and dominance, and basically other nations saying no, 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 not yet, not sir, and so much that they will go to war with one another. Now, I
That's right.
asked you to read that last verse in 18, Baba Kasha.
this is it says Revelation 17 and 18. It says, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth."
Now, when you go to the book, the 18th chapter, like the brother Tazayaf just read too, it's going to tell you, right? Go to the 18.
Yep.
18 and 1.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Revelation 18 and 1. "And after these things I saw another angel."
Yeah, see, that's key, right? After these things, right? After these things, after what we just read about, right? Which was the beast nations ultimately turning their back on his whore, right? After these things, go ahead, bro.
It says, "After these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitations of devil, and the hole of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird."
Yeah, so fall in is past tense. So when we read this, we're waiting for it to fall. So it hasn't happened yet in the time period that we're living in. But how the author is reading this, right? He's receiving the good news. Somebody's giving him the good news. I saw this angel, and this angel cried, which is a messenger, and he cried with a loud voice, saying, Babylon is fallen, and it's fallen, and has become. Go ahead, bro.
It says, verse 3, it says, "For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, that ye receive not of her plagues."
Yeah, that's the deliverance. That's the voice that you're hearing, Allah Subhanahu Kadash, which is the voice of the Lord saying, come out of her, and him gathering up his people. into those chariots. Go ahead, brother.
That's right.
For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities.
Yeah, sin is a transgression of the law. It reached unto the heavens, the skies, the rulers. Go ahead, bro.
Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup which she had filled to her double.
Yeah,
How
so when
much
we say that they're gonna get double for what they've done, it's doctrine, it's scriptural, it's not our opinion, right? Go ahead, bro.
how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrows give her. But she
Yep.
said unto her, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow.
It's a
Therefore,
sentiment of the average Babylonian. America's gonna see no sorrow. We're not gonna lose no war. We're the best of the best. You know, Russia's nukes are all old. You know, China's weapons are junk, right? They're gonna find out the hard way, right? Because the
Yeah, they
pride
think
goes
it's
before
business as
destruction. So
usual.
the Heavenly Father
Yeah.
had to give them that pride.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah. We
think
won
it's
the First
business as
World War, we won the
usual, you
Second
know.
World War.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
That
what I
pride,
use that.
pride is a
Yeah,
motherfucker.
con. That's what I was about to say. That's what I use as a gauge. The reason why, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, if you know that you're a part of the truth of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, you don't have that pride, because everybody that's in this world or locked inside the world of Babylon, okay, they all say the same thing. That's propaganda. I don't believe they have technology like that. They believe that America technology is number one. And the only thing that America is doing is making better cameras for cell phones. That's it. They're not involved with nothing else.
They're not even making that. That shit. If you talking about Apple, brother,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They think,
that shit's made. Was it made in,
yeah, they
designed in
think,
California? Made in
yeah,
was it Taiwan?
Taiwan. It's all Taiwan. It's the chips.
fine. You
Yeah.
finish off verse 8. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah who judgeth her.
Yeah.
All right, we'll jump back real quick.
Yeah.
All right, it says after this is section 3. It says after World War II, the United States led efforts to set up the Bretton Woods system, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank, which together with the Marshall Plan formed the international monetary system centered around the US dollar. In addition, the United States had also established institutional hegemony in the international economic and financial sector by manipulating the weighted voting system. It says rule and arrangement of international organization, including approval by 85% majority, and its domestic trade laws and regulation. By taking advantage of the dollar's status as the major international reserve currency, the United States is basically collecting or the seigniorage, right? Which I do have that word right here. The seigniorage is profited made by a government by issuing currency, especially the difference between the face value of coins and the production cost. Right. So going back, it says the United States is basically collecting seigniorage from around the world and using its control over international organization. It coerce other countries into serving America's political and economic strategy.
There you go.
All right, we're gonna jump down to the next one. Section 4, technological hegemony, monopoly, and suppression. The United States seeks to deter other countries' scientific, technological, and economic development by wielding monopoly power, suppression measures, and technology restriction in high-tech fields. The United States monopolized intellectual properties in the name of protection. It says taking advantage of the weak position of other countries, especially developing ones, on intellectual property rights. So, that brother was speaking.
Go ahead.
It says on intellectual property rights, the institutional vacancy in relevance field, the United States reaps excessive profits through the monopoly. In 1994, the United States pushed forward the agreement on trade-related aspect of intellectual property rights, which is TRIPS. It says forcing the Americanized process and standard in intellectual property protection in an attempt to solidify its monopoly on technology.
That's right. That's all that they do. Okay. They want everything to be underneath them. All right. And when they do that, it knocks the balance off, so to speak, of everything in the world. Okay. Because when you have a country, it's to succeed. You know, you're not supposed to be suppressing any other nation that's outside of your nation. You make sure that your nation succeed, and you're not supposed to oppress anybody else. Okay, but we know that Esau Edom is that he's the oppressor, and the earth was given into his hands, so he wants to take full control over it. Anybody got a scripture for that?
I'm gonna read a little bit more into this one. I'm gonna read these two next paragraphs. It says in the 1980s, it contains the development of Japan's semiconductor industry. The United States launched the 301 investigation, built bargaining power in bilateral negotiation through multilateral agreements, threatened to label Japan as conducting unfair trade and impose retaliatory tariffs, forcing Japan to sign the U.S.-Japan Semiconductor Agreement. As a result, Japanese semiconductor enterprises were almost completely driven out of the global competition, and their market share dropped from 50% to 10%. Meanwhile, with the support of the U.S. government, a large number of U.S. semiconductor enterprises took the opportunity and grabbed larger market shares.
Mm-hmm.
Cutthroat.
That's what's they call that? That's cornering the market.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It says the United States weaponizes technological issues and using them as ideological tools, overstretching the concept of national security. The United States mobilized states' power to suppress and sanction Chinese company Huawei, right, or Hua, however you say it. It says restricted the entry of Huawei products in the U.S. market, cut off its supply of chips and operating system, and course other countries to ban Huawei from undertaking local 5G network construction. It even talked Canada into unwarrantedly detaining Huawei CFO Meng Wanzhou for nearly 3 years.
Yeah, man, that's that power. That's that perception, deception to the influence to have these other countries again banned and follow after their agenda, man. They have that power, that influence to have other companies to be aboard with their agenda, man. And this is why the nations are mad, man.
Yeah, Khan, they got Babylon got these other nations under these nations that are in league with it under that spell.
Mm-hmm.
The wave of the wand, and these people are just gonna jump and do
just gonna follow.
Yeah, gonna follow. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're gonna read this last section and just a conclusion, and then we're gonna jump to Habakkuk and just bring out other precepts as well. It says cultural hegemony, spreading false narratives. The global expansion of American culture is an important part of its external strategy. The United States has often used cultural tools to strengthen and maintain its hegemony in the world. The United States embeds American value in its products, such as movies. American values and lifestyles are a tied product to its movies and TV shows, publication, media content, and programs by the government-funded nonprofit cultural institution. It thus shapes a cultural and public opinion space in which American culture reigns and maintains cultural hegemony. And that's that going back to the philosophies, right? They put it out there that these other nations see it and they want to desire to be like Babylon. That's why you have women that's over there in Afghanistan, these Arab countries that want to have women's liberation. They want women's rights. They're out there marching and doing so because of what they see going on over there, that strong, heavy influence, right? Yep. It says, where am I right here? Okay. In his article, The Americanization of the World, John Yema, it says an American scholar exposed a real weapon in U.S. cultural expansion, the Hollywood. There you go. You got to mention Hollywood.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that's the biggest force right there.
Yeah, it's a part of their that's cultural brainwashing. Yeah.
That's that one.
Right.
It says the image design factories on Madison Avenue and the production line of Mattel companies and Coca-Cola.
Hmm.
These are various vehicles the United States used to keep its cultural hegemony. American movies are the most used. They now occupy more than 70% of the world's market share. The United States skillfully exploits its cultural diversity to appeal to various ethnicities. When Hollywood movies descend on the world, they scream the American values tied to them.
Mm.
I'll read a little bit more. It says American cultural hegemony not only shows itself as direct intervention, but also in media infiltration. As a trumpet for the world, U.S. dominated Western media has a particularly important role in shaping global public opinion in favor of U.S. meddling in the internal affairs of other countries.
Yeah, man. That media, man, it could make a evil person be a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and it could make a righteous person be like the scum of the earth, man. Especially with constantly airing it and just pushing a narrative. I'm telling you, this witchcraft is actually pushed forth wickedness as the new norm, and this is why we're what does it say oh man, that's the tip of my tongue. A wise man. Damn, Salakia, brothers. That's on the tip of my tongue, man. But,
what is it? Increase of sorrows, roughly paraphrasing.
Yeah. With much wisdom is much sorrow. Just because of the water, brother. It's just Esau and just the Babylonian wand, man. It can make something bad be good, and something good be wicked, man.
And to even add to your point, like ever since Russia went into Ukraine, you can see that the propaganda was hitting hard against Russia, and to the point where when you watch Vladimir Putin stand up on a podium and he's speaking, all right, the things that he's speaking is as a man, if you was put in a position and you was a leader, and this was happening to your country, you would make the same decision based off of what's happening into Russia, right? With America trying to tie in with Ukraine, but once again, they got the media working overdrive, right? To the point where the average American citizen is backing Ukraine, and they talking about neo-Nazis and all these different things, and flooding them with aid and assisting them with weapons, right? And they just so hardcore, just pressed on Russia and getting Russia out of there and calling bringing up crime charges upon Putin. But it showed you, if you don't see that this is part of their plan, this is part of their tactic, then once again you're in darkness, man.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Hey, scripture says, "Be not ignorant to Satan's devices, man," because they push the narratives, man.
That's right. Yeah. I'm gonna read just one more. It says the United States government strictly censors all social media companies and demand their obedience. Twitter CEO Elon Musk admitted on 27 December 2022 that all social media platform works with the U.S. government to censor content, reported Fox Business Network. Public opinions in the United States is subject to government intervention to restrict all unfavorable remarks. Google often make pages disappear. And now you have the thing where they're fact checking everything. Anything that goes against them, they're fact checking it. Or they can just, like you said, they can take your page off, just wipe it off or whatever the case is, and just disprove it. All right. But once again, this is showing you that this is coming straight from China. All right. Let alone this is China speaking, but how much more you have Iran that got they're gonna say something eventually. Russia in their piece, and these other countries that see Babylon for what it is. All right, they're gonna start exposing them more. All right.
It's the new thing that's been passed along in the WEF too, to ban all social media disinformation. So that's another thing that they're going to come at you with, suppressing the truth. Okay, the Lord's word is about to be taken out of the off the internet. Let's say that.
That's right.
Okay,
and they control the algorithm as well, so they'll make sure that another video of exposing their lies will not pop up in your viewed or your suggestions.
Yeah. I'm gonna read this highlighted point and then we jump to the conclusion. It says the United States used misinformation as a spear to attack other countries and has built an industrial chain around it. It said there are groups and individuals making up stories and peddling them worldwide to mislead public opinions with the support of nearly limitless financial resources.
That's the news. The news by itself does that. You know, it's all brought to you by those big pharma companies. Okay.
That's right.
Oh, speaking of that, let me grab a quick precept.
It's just limitless, man. They will spend trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars as long as they push that agenda, man.
And the truth was covered up from us like that too. You know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. It says
That's
Nahum 3:1. It says, "Woe to the bloody city! It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not."
Sure.
And that's
so
exactly
you won't be able to get out of the grips of it. The grips of what you call Esau Edom and his media one. Okay. Unless the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai rest upon you, then you'll know what the truth is. Okay.
Verse 2: the noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and of the prancing horses and of the jumping chariots. The horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses. There is none end of their corpse. They stumble upon their corpse. Because of the multitude of thy whoredoms, of the well-favored harlot, which we just read in Revelation, the 17th chapter, the harlot that sits upon the scarlet-colored beast, being America. Hey, man, this is the mistress of witchcraft, Isaiah 47, which we will get as well. That selleth nations through her whoredom and families through her witchcraft. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem of hosts, and I will discover thy skirt upon thy face, and I will show nations thy nakedness and kingdoms thy shame, which the Most High is exposing them.
Yeah, Isaiah 47.
Yep, the Most High is revealing it. All right, and that's the thing about the Lord having his men, his servants, the prophets on the highways and the byways, because that's how he speaks. That's who he's going to speak through. We're speaking the words of Yahweh Shemel Shah that is written in the book. All right, and guess what? You know, as we speak this out to the world and speak this world, the words of Yahweh Shemel Shah out in the open, guess what? You see it being played out right in front of you. You can identify what the hell is going on and who it is that's doing it. All right, it's
read that next verse.
Right. In verse 6, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and I will make thee vow, and will set thee as a gazing stock. And it shall come to pass that all they that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and say, Nineveh is laid waste, who has bemoaned her? Whence shall I seek comforters for thee? Right, and Babylon is a modern day Nineveh. All right,
that's it.
You know, so just finish off on this, right? It says, conclusion. While a just cause win its champion wide support, an unjust one condemns its pursuers to be an outcast. The hegemonic, domineering, and bullying practice of using strength to intimidate the weak, all right, taken from others by force. What scripture is that?
John 10 and 10.
It says,
and then the coveted fields.
Yep. Come on, you're right. Yep. It says taken from others by force and what is it?
Subterfuge.
Yeah, subterfuge through order, and playing zero-sum games are exerting grave harm. It says the historic trends of peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefits are unstoppable. The United States have been overriding truth with its power and trampling justice to serve its self-interest. These unilateral, egotistic, it says in regressive hegemonic practices have drawn growing intense criticism and opposition from the international community. Countries need to respect each other and treat each other as equal. Big countries should behave in manner of befitting their status and take the lead of pursuing a new model of state-to-state relations featuring dialogue and partnership, not confrontation or alliance. It says China opposes all forms of hegemonism and power political and rejects interference in other countries' internal affairs. The United States must conduct serious soul searching. It must critically examine what it has done let go of its arrogance and prejudice, and quit its hegemonic, domineering and bullying practices. But it says, let go of his arrogance and prejudice. The arrogance go back to pride, you know. But hey, man, let's get into Habakkuk because it just falls into it. Habakkuk 2:1, it says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon a tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I should answer will I in reproof. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon table, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. It says, yet also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep at home, who enlarges his desires as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. But gather unto him all nations, and heap unto him all people. And you got to remember, these are the characteristics of Esau, Edom. All right,
That's
this
right.
is the characteristics of Babylon. Man. All right, this is what we read. All right, this is all in that reading.
This is what Moab is exposing them for, man.
Exactly.
China, man. This is everything. Everything's poetic, man. The scripture is laying it down. Who that enemy is, man?
That's right.
Who's that Satan? Who's the devil, man?
That's right. He said because he is a proud man. Did they not say about his arrogance? Neither keep at home, always in somebody's business. You know, who enlarges his desires as hell. You know, he heaps all type of like they mentioned about the money, right? Yeah. They mentioned about making the IMF. They spoke on that. You know, it's a snare that they put upon the other nations, right? It says verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, and how long to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, which that thick clay represents what? Debt. I bought you. That debt, right? But that's what I'm saying. These nations are starting to take up that proverb against him, starting to speak out. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him.
That's Isaiah 33, you know, because in the end, that's what exactly was going to happen. They're going to be calling for, hey, wasn't we friends with you in the past? And you know, they're going through that issue right now with Turkey. Okay,
I got you right here. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And that also goes into Obadiah as well. Obadiah was it 1:7?
Yep. Because that's exactly what you're starting to see. These other nations, they're going to go to their allies, and we know what the biggest ally is because of Ezekiel, the 38th chapter.
Hey, even the allies of Babylon was dealt with treacherously. Think about what happened with the pipeline, right? You had a lot of the European countries that had that's affected by it, man.
Yeah.
You know, and those countries are in league with America. You know, so it's showing you that hey, that's a treacherous thing because I think it just came out saying that what's his name the president, the king of Babylon, had ordered that to happen.
There you go. So he put those other nations over there on that side, right along the battle line of Russia. Okay. And Putin already gave his decree way back. He said it. He said, you're going to choose sides. If you don't choose sides, then you're going to freeze to death.
This is Obadiah 1:6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the borders. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. All right. Let's go back to Habakkuk, verse 9. Habakkuk 2:9, it says, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam of the timber shall answer. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, establish a city by iniquity. Did they not mention, what is it at? Salakia, I just want to go back to it real quick. About the slaughtering of the Indians, right?
Yeah, yeah.
China.
So they was in the military, I believe. Yep,
the military section, right? Yep, right here. It slaughtered Indians, right here. Invaded Canada, waged war against Mexico, instigated the American-Spanish War. You know, this is how they got to this status, man. You know.
You got some more of that?
No, you got it, brother. I'm gonna read a little bit more. Go ahead.
I got Ecclesiasticus 10 verse 8. Because unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And this is the transition of power right now. Evil has to be purged out, has to be burned, and the righteous will come, man. This is the coming of our Lord and Savior, man. The destruction of Esau, Edom. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Because Esau has fulfilled unrighteous dealings, injuries, bullying, riches, all by deception. And that goes with also the media, you know, with the influence of that wand. These are all the bulletin points that we're reading from, even what China is exposing about America, man. So again, imagine these other countries and nations that have dealt with Babylon the Great. They're starting to see Esau for the devil that he is, man. And that's why there's a taunting proverb. They call him the great Shaitan, you know, the great devil, man.
It says, verse 13, Habakkuk 2:13, behold, is it not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity? For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge and the glory of Yahweh Bahashim El Shah, as the water cover the sea. And that's what's happening right now. All right. The earth is being filled with the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh Bahashim El Shah by way of who? The prophets. That's all right. Day in and day out, week in and week out. All right. And it comes also by exposing the wicked. You know, uplifting our people, getting our people right, telling our people repent and prepare themselves for the coming of our Lord. All right. And exposing these nations, man. Telling them their judgment. Right. It says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. Thou art filled with shameful glory. Drink thou also, let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory.
Right? And that's basically what China did with that article. Okay. The shameful spewing on their glory. They have did things in order to get to a position, but the things that they have did, they think they're swept underneath the rug. But all these nations, at their last end, the Lord is revealing and pulling the wool from over their eyes, man. And they're gonna trample on this place, man. Right. Just like it says in Jeremiah. Okay, Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51. Okay. And the result is going to be Revelations, the 18th chapter.
That's right.
Yeah, the end has been already declared from the beginning, man. Again, we're just waiting for it to be fulfilled, man. You know?
That's right. I'm gonna read this. Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, but thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the river. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, you want to speak on it?
Oh no, I'm just saying that's right, man. Hey, man, their nakedness being uncovered, man. Again, these devils, they harness their power through secrecy. You know, trying to do things in dark. But again, there's a time where the Lord has the children of the light. You know, we're in the time of information of age. the age of information, excuse me. Time of expose. There's so much information out there. It's the perfect time that the Lord is lifting up these skirts of these devils, man, and everything's now being revealed. They can't hide themselves. They have been compromised. First, it starts through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai and his prophets. And that's that vibration that's going to be pushed throughout the whole world, man. There's going to be a balance. It's not going to be just one-sided of all wickedness. Now light has to now make it a balance, man.
That's right. Verse 5, it says, "Sit thou silence and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms." It says, "I was wrought with my people, I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand, and thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou verily heavily laid thy yoke, Salakia. And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear thou this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that saith in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me," which is that pride, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in the moment of one day, the loss of children and widowhood. It says, "They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantment. Thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evils come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know."
That's going back to those nations ganging up, okay? Because they still think they're in their pride so much, they think that they're still in that season, okay, of dropping missiles, all right, showing everybody who's boss. But as you can see, the letter that we just read, China just said that enough is enough, man. Enough is enough. When are you going to stop trying to bully people into doing what you want to do and work with people? And they're not going to be able to do that. This is Babylon the Great. They don't work with anybody.
It's not in them to do so.
Yeah.
Right. This is verse 12. "Stand now with thine enchantment and with the multitude of thy sorcery." And, like when they spoke about Hollywood and the influence across the four corners of the earth. That's the enchantment, right? "Stand now with thine enchantments. I'll say a portion of the enchantment, because
it's a multitude of it.
Yes, a multitude. Yep. "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorcery, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be that thou, if so be thou shalt be able to profit, but so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsel. Let now the astrologers and stargazers and monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame, neither shall not," it says, "there shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before. Thus shall they be unto thee, with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchant from thy youth. They shall wander everyone to his quarter, none shall save thee."
Hey, that's the end result, man. Ultimately, the thermonuclear missiles is going to purge and cleanse Babylon the Great. And this place is going to be a lake of fire, man. Nobody's going to ever inhabit this place, man. But this is the reason, because wickedness had fulfilled the whole earth, and Babylon has been that cup. So now nothing's going to stop them chariots from these other nations, because the Lord, Yahweh, is going to ordain these other nations to shoot at Babylon the Great, man.
Yep. That's right. We can just end off on this again. Since you had brought it out, we bring it out one more time. It says, verse Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8, "Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another." And this is why Yahweh Shai is going to come in. He's going to have many crowns upon his head. All right, because those kingdoms is going to be transferred unto him. A profitable king, a king that knows how to govern the world in its proper way. Which, where even in the height of the kingdom of Yasha Alan, all right, that's what these nations are gonna, except for Esau, Edom, but these nations are gonna rejoice, and they're gonna be happy. Why? Because they're gonna know what being under a righteous king is like. A righteous nation is like. You know, they getting their little fair shake. They're gonna be willingly giving up their resources. You ain't gonna have to do what Esau did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we don't plan on making wars.
Yep.
All right. We don't plan on bullying people till they're underneath your feet like a doormat.
The kingdom's gonna be ruling righteousness. And even if they don't want to obey, like the scripture says that the Lord will bring famine unto them. But guess what? Eventually, guess what? They're gonna submit.
They're gonna have to. Yeah.
Have to submit. You know,
things are gonna be done in decent and righteous order, man.
Yep, that's right.
Okay. It's a way. It's a way without bloodshed to get a person to do as they're needed to do. And that's what Jake is diplomatic, man. We're going to be the most diplomatic people on the face of the planet, in the universe, rather. Okay? And it's all through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man.
That's right. That's it on my end.
There we go.
All right. So with that, we want to say all praises due to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to all you brothers teaching in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. And this is Gms Boston signing off with Abal, Kwam Yasharala, and Shalom.
Shalom. And also, the water to the brothers on the comment boards that's posting comments. Y'all watching our Shabbat Katham. To all you that tuned in.
Shalom. Shalom.